Greetings and welcome to our 2020-2021 Teacher Evaluation Training. I am Kimberly Hazel. Currently, our teacher evaluation system has remained in the standard process and has not been adapted to reflect our remote teaching environment. If or when that occurs, I will return with updates. Since it is the state's expectation that we will have in-school teaching at some point, and that regardless of our setting, high quality instruction from teachers and feedback from school leaders must be maintained. So we will apply this system to our current learning environment. Let's get started. Today, I will provide you with the processes, standards, due dates, and resources required for orientation. At the conclusion of this training, you will complete the quiz in Canvas and log into My Talent to record today's date as verification of your participation. This step is crucial as no further action steps may occur in My Talent until you record today's date, August 29th, 2020, as the training orientation date. Remember to look for Mark Complete and the green check marks. You may also access the 2020-2021 school-wide folder under Evaluation Resources folder for this presentation and all accompanying documents. As an ELA teacher, I cannot bring myself to logically pronounce this acronym as NESIS, but that is how it is pronounced, although there is no E after the end. This is an acronym for North Carolina Educator Evaluation System. All classroom teachers and licensed support staff are evaluated under this system. So take a moment to find your position. The purpose of this evaluation system is to support your instructional and performance growth and effectiveness throughout the year. Read the purpose components. There are 4 components of the evaluation process cycle. We are currently participating in step 1, training and orientation, which must take place within 10 school days. And today is our date. Step 2 is the self-assessment. And self-assessment or self-reflection, it is the first step towards growth and improvement. And remember, that is what this teacher evaluation system is. It is a measure of our growth and improvement over the course of the school year. So for your self-assessment, you will use the evaluation rubric and you're going to rate your level of performance based on your analysis. You should continue this reflection throughout the year. You will click on self-assessment and click a rating for each element of each standard. Be sure to share your final self-assessment in My Talent. It is not necessary to write feedback comments. Your ratings are indicative of how you view your performance and the level of expertise. The professional development plan. You will outline 2 goals that I will model for you later. And these 2 goals will form your professional development plan, also called a PDP. We have 2 school-wide goals that are relevant and crucial for us to facilitate meeting the needs of our students. I will cover these 2 school-wide goals. You will outline the goal to meet your performance. And if you are interested in setting additional goals, you are encouraged to do so. However, 2 is the minimum. The pre-observation conference. This is a conference or a meeting between you and your evaluator. This meeting will take place before your first announced observation. And this scheduled meeting will discuss your self-assessment, your PDP, and the lesson that will be observed. The first lesson, the first observation will be announced for all staff members. Your evaluator will email you a date for the pre-conference meeting with accompanying documents such as a pre-conference questionnaire. And this conference will prepare you for the observation and allow you to ask and receive any other information that you need to prepare you for your observation. Step 3 is the observation cycle, which begins with the actual classroom observation. Your evaluator will arrive to your class, script notes, write the evaluation, and within 10 days, notify you for the post-conference. Remember, the observation cycle is a growth and measurement system, and your entry level and experience level will determine the number and the type or types of evaluations that you will have throughout the year. Looking at the chart, beginning teachers, if you have less than 3 years, or if you're an experienced teacher, but it's your first year in CMS, you will have 3 formal or full observations throughout the course of the school year. You will have one at the beginning of the school year, one in the middle of the school year, one at the end of the school year. You will also have an observation by a peer who will be assigned to you, and more details about the peer observation will be forthcoming. If you are an experienced teacher, you have greater than or equal to 3 years. This is not your first year in CMS. You will have 3 formal or full. If you're in your renewal year, you will have 2, or you could have 2 abbreviated if it is your off-cycle year. The principal at any time can always elect to have a full observation on any staff member. All licensed support staff will have 3 formal full observations. The post-observation conference will take place within 10 school days. You will meet with your evaluator to discuss what is written in the observation. And you will discuss and document in my talent, strengths, and areas for improvement. Step 4 is the summative evaluation. The summative evaluation is actually not an observation. It is a form that has a complete summary rating for your school year. So your evaluator will review your 3 observations and complete a summary or a summative that sums up your school year. The evaluator will meet with the teacher, and it is an opportunity for more continued reflection and goal setting for the next school year. Your professional development plan, also known as your PDP. This is how each of us will set our goals for the year. Your PDP, you should see this as a living document. It will be visited 3 times throughout the year with your evaluator at the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and at the end of the year. You and your evaluator will discuss your goals, progress towards the goals. You will document all of the progress that you are making, document next steps. You will receive feedback from your evaluator. And although you will meet with your evaluator 3 times throughout the year, you should visit and update this PDP much more frequently. As a school, we have a 2-goal minimum, but as I said earlier, you are encouraged to add additional goals, but these are the 2 that are required. The first goal is on feedback. taken from the teacher evaluation standard, standard 4C. The teacher's feedback is purposeful and reinforces, sustains, motivates, and/or corrects student learning. The second school-wide goal is taken from standard 4A. It is on remote learning. The teacher ensures that learning is challenging, rigorous, and relevant for all students and all subgroups. Attached to this presentation is a PDP planning document. And this document allows you to outline, using the SMART goal method approach, details, activities, due dates, outcomes for each of your goals. A sample is also attached to this document so that you are able to have a model for how your goal should be planned and designed. The NESIS rating scale. There are 5 ratings on the scale, and written feedback is also provided for each standard and rating. The feedback is more important than the rating. The feedback provides an analysis of your impact on student learning. It highlights your strengths, and it details guidance and next steps for improvement. As your performance and instructional impact develops, so will your ratings throughout the year. Remember, this system is a growth system, and part of our responsibility as administrators is to provide opportunities for you to demonstrate advancement throughout this system. Not demonstrated. Not demonstrated should never be a goal. It means did not demonstrate competence or adequate growth. And we should always strive to show competence and growth in any interaction with students. Developing. Developing it means that you demonstrated adequate growth, but did not demonstrate competence on standards. A developing rating indicates knowledge. You have the knowledge of the standard. We know that you know it. You can talk to us about it. You have had exposure to it, but you may not have necessarily demonstrated performance of that standard. So a developing rating, it means that you exemplified the skills expected of a new teacher or expected of a teacher who may be experienced but is in a new content. Or it could be expected of a teacher who needs to learn a new skill in order to meet the standard. Proficient. Proficient means that you have demonstrated basic competence. It means that you are doing what is asked of you. It means that as far as how to see it, can you show it? Can you demonstrate that standard? That is what proficient is. In order to get a rating of proficient, it means that you must also exhibit all of the skills that fall under developing. Accomplished. Accomplished means that you have exceeded basic competence on standards of performance. So you have exhibited all the skills that fall under developing and proficient, and you ask yourself, is it visible in the action of your students? Can you see the interaction of what the teacher is doing, and are the students also exhibiting those same skills? Distinguished. Distinguished means that you have consistently and significantly exceeded basic competence on standards of performance. It's an extension of what you're doing. Is it visible beyond the instructional space of your classroom? What is the impact? Some things to consider: the impact of your leadership or contribution to the PLC as a whole. So impact is not just happening in your classroom with your students, but students who are in another teacher's classroom, who are school-wide, those teachers and students are benefiting, closing achievement gaps because of your contribution and your leadership. NESIS standards. So the ratings tell us the how, the standards explains the what. Each standard consists of substandards or elements that you will be rated on each of those. Standard 1, teacher demonstrates leadership. There are multiple ways that a teacher may demonstrate leadership. You may demonstrate leadership in the school, working within your PLC, supporting the goals of the school improvement plan, and collaborating with colleagues to make improvements. You may demonstrate leadership by leading the teaching profession. It means that you are actively participating in decision-making structures. You're taking advantage of the expertise in the building, and you collaborate to improve the profession. Leadership in the classroom, you're taking responsibility for the progress of all your students, and you're thinking big picture, high school graduation, global competitiveness, preparing them for life. You have a safe and orderly environment in your classroom. You also allow your students to set goals. You are meeting the needs of your students, and you have a positive classroom culture. That classroom culture is one of empowerment. Another way for teachers to demonstrate leadership is that you advocate for students and you advocate for the school. And finally, you must demonstrate high ethical standards. You are honest, fair, you show integrity, you have respect for others, and these are all determined by the standards of professional conduct. Standard 2, teachers establish a respectful environment for a diverse population of students. This means that you have a positive, nurturing relationship, but also professional at the same time. You embrace diversity in the school and in the world. You bring it into your classroom. You adapt your teaching to benefit those students with special needs. Those would be students who are EC, LEP, they have a 504, or they could be the gifted students as well. Sometimes you may have students who may not fall under those categories, but they may have a unique learning need. It could be seating arrangement, and you make accommodations for those students. It also includes working collaboratively with families, that strong, clear, consistent communication, and it allows you to build trust, a partnership, and solutions with the home and the school. You treat students as individuals, you have very high expectations for them, and you appreciate the differences and the values that they contribute. Standard 3, teachers know the content they teach. It means that your content, every lesson, it must be aligned to Common Core, North Carolina Standard Course of Study. And if it is aligned, it will be rigorous. You apply knowledge beyond the content, and you influence students' natural curiosity so that their curiosity is piqued to want to learn beyond the classroom, beyond the textbook. You recognize how your content relates to other disciplines, and that brings that interdisciplinary approach, which is probably going to happen in a natural way with our IB units. And you also make instruction relevant. You connect learning to real life. You build on students' interests and their experiences, and you incorporate 21st century life skills. Standard 4, facilitates learning for students. This is the largest standard. It means that you demonstrate the ways that learning should take place. You differentiate for appropriate levels. You utilize a variety of data sources, and people are considered data sources at times as well. So you use data sources and people sources for lesson planning and implementation. You choose methods and techniques that are most effective in closing these achievement gaps. You know how and when to use technology to maximize student learning. You help students develop critical thinking and problem solving, and you help them also to build leadership in themselves. And finally, with assessment, you use multiple indicators to assess what students should have learned, or you assess what they are learning. In Standard 5, teachers reflect on their practice. As we reflect, we must use data to reflect. So you collect and analyze data. You're constantly asking yourself, what can be done to improve instruction? Or you look at your data, your positive data, and ask yourself, why are they learning? So that you know exactly what strategies and methods are working. Another form of reflection is participating in high quality professional development and adapting your practices, adapting your beliefs, adapting your traditions and your lessons based on research and data. We always must have the mindset of continuous improvement. During your observation, the evaluator will create a script tape, and that script tape is the evaluator writing or typing everything that is happening in the classroom. And this record, in addition to other classroom walkthroughs, informal observation data, we will put that information together and determine the comments and the appropriate ratings for your evaluation. You will have facilitators and administrators conduct classroom walkthroughs and in an informal setting, give you suggestions and improvement for performance. It is important that you take note and you should receive things in writing to help you with saving that information. So you should get a copy of the walkthrough feedback. And even if it is in a conversation, be sure to take note of that. And walkthrough data will be focused around school expectations for instruction. In our flexible learning culture PD, we discussed making compliance visible for students. Well, what happens when instructional and conduct expectations are not visible with adults? We coach, we model, we provide resources, we mentor, we partner you, and we strategize. That is what we do. So we are here to support you through all challenges that may come up. If that does not work, if additional support is needed, then we may have to go to the design of a performance counseling letter, also referred to as a PCL. Teachers who are not on track for meeting the minimum performance expectations for all teachers in their level of experience will be placed on a PCL after we have exceeded or exhausted other strategies. During the PCL, professional development and other experiences to help strengthen the teacher's performance in whatever the deficient areas are, they will be required. We will monitor this performance on a frequent basis, providing feedback to ensure that the minimum standards are being met. If at the end of the year that the performance expectations are not met, the principal will recommend non-renewal of the teacher's contract to the Board of Education. So what does a performance counseling letter look like? It is a set of action sets. It identifies the area of concern or the deficiency. It describes the expectation and outlines what needs to be completed within a specific time period to address the concern. It includes support from various leadership team members. Most will be in the building, and if necessary, some leadership may be in the district outside of the building. And it is documentation that will address the deficiencies and in order so that the teacher can show improvement on the summary evaluation. These are the activities to make sure you complete them so that you know that you have satisfied compliance for the My Talent scenario. Our orientation, self-assessment is due on September 11th. Make sure you click share. And the PDP is also due on September 11th. When complete, always click mark complete for the green arrows. We always want to go green. Things you should know, and this information is uploaded in the evaluation folder. The minimum performance rating for your experience level, there is a document in our evaluation folder that informs you what your minimum rating needs to be according to your experience level. The evaluation plan status, that is something that we're taking care of for you also, but you need to know what type of plan that you will be rated on this year. And you also need to be able to refer to the CMS rubric and indicators for guidance. And all of these items are found in our school-wide folder 2021 in Google Drive. So this is our exit ticket because we've come to the end of this evaluation training. We have oriented ourselves and all of the activities will be completed in My Talent. The yellow highlight is the website, how to access My Talent. To log in My Talent, look at the area in blue. Your username is your CMS email, and your password is capital C, lowercase m, $, and the last 5 digits of your Social Security number. For your username, you can try, if you need to include @CMS, that part, but it's definitely going to be at least your name part. When you put in your orientation date, today's date, always mark complete. You will also complete the teacher evaluation quiz in Canvas. And I need you to calendar these due dates, September 11th for your self-assessment and your PDP. Thank you for sharing your time with me to orient yourself to the North Carolina Teacher Evaluation System. My name is Kimberly Hazel. This is my phone number, my email. If you have any further questions, your grade level administrator is also able to answer and support you in any way that you may need. Thank you again.